Whew. All right. H1B denial rate jumps from 6% to 32%. So if you guys want to figure out what it means for international students, especially the students who are planning to come to US from India, then you should stick around for this one. Welcome back, guys. For those who are new to the channel, my name is Anmol, and today we're going to be talking about H1B denial rates. So, recently I came across this article on Forbes, right, which basically stated that the H1B denial rate has jumped from 6% to 32% under Trump's administration. And as you know, I like a bit of gossip myself, so I read the entire thing, and it was actually pretty interesting because A, it had a lot of data in it, and as you all know, I'm like full on data science, so that was pretty interesting. So, this is what it basically stated. It stated that the rate of denial for H1B visas has jumped from 6%, then to 8%, and now at an all-time high of 32% over the course of last 5 or 6 years, primarily during Trump's candidature, right? So, by the way, I have linked the article down below in the comment section, so be sure to check it out for yourself and just don't take my word for it. Now, first of all, let's try to figure out what does the article actually say. The article says that the number of H1B denials for new applications has gone down. It is basically implying for people who are already here and have an H1B visa, they're fine. Their rejection rates are what they used to be, so there's not a huge amount of change. But for the people who are applying new to the program, those are the guys who are getting rejected, i.e., the students who are fresh graduates. Now, before I do a deep dive into it, I just want to make sure that you understand what USCIS is. USCIS is the organization that is responsible for you maintaining your visa status. So, when you come here, you're basically on an F1 visa, which is basically a student visa. And under an F1 visa, once you graduate, if you're a STEM degree, you get an OPT, which is basically 1 plus 2 years of extension. So basically, you can stay here for 3 years as a student, and that is covered under F1. Now, if the company wants to keep you for any longer, they have to apply for your H1B, and that is where the article is referring to that the problem has started or is an all-time high of 32% rejection. Now, I for one have heard really weird stories when it comes to, especially during H1B rejections. The weirdest story that I heard was about a colleague within our colleague circle, that a guy got into Google and he was working, and when they applied for his H1 visa, he got rejected. And the reason he got rejected was USCIS basically stated, hey, you did your mechanical in your undergrad, and now basically you did your CS in your masters, and now you're working for Google. Surely Google can find someone better than you, right? And that is like a really weird reason to reject someone's H1B application. But I have heard a lot of weird stuff. I've even heard people getting rejected because of typos in their application and signing in the wrong places, or they just missing one single document and they just missed the deadline and now they're rejected automatically. I heard some real weird stuff going on. Now, denial is not a big thing. I mean, it wasn't, right? It was happening even before Trump came, but the successive growth in denial rates, starting from 2014, 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, has grown on exponentially. And this directly coincides with Trump, right? And it's hard to not to believe that Trump's policies have had an impact on this trend. And there's a direct correlation. So, what does it mean for an international student, right? What are my opinions on it personally? Now, here's what I think. You should come to US for two main reasons. The first one is get a good education, right? And you still can do that. There's no rejection, there's nothing. You're on an F1 visa, you can still get your education. The second is come for the experience. Now, when you're an OPT, right, you have 3 years with you of work experience that you can gather. And once you have gathered good work experience, I'm not saying any, I mean like good work experience, you can go work anywhere in the world. If you go back to India, you can get a very good job, right? If you want to go to some other part of the world, you can still do that. So I feel it is still a very good option that you should definitely explore, but always have plan B. A lot of students here who got rejected went into panic mode, and that is not what I think should be the scenario. It's written on the paper. US is nowhere obligated to kind of keep extending your H1B visa, right? That is not the premises under which one takes a student. It is definitely an expectation from the students, including me, right? But they are not legally obligated to do it. So here's what I feel. Still a good option. Definitely do it, but always have your plan B in hand. And also, it is true that your salary will definitely take a hit when you move, right? But so will the cost of living reduce. So, I mean, There might be a trade-off, yes, but it's not the end of the world, right? You still got your good education, you still got your good work experience, and your salary wherever you go is going to still be decent, right? Because your standard of living matches up, so you in the end just might end up saving the same amount. A parting thought that I want to leave you with is basically this: nobody thinks anything bad is ever going to happen to them. They just expect that, hey, something bad is going to happen to someone else and you will be the lucky one, unless until the point it happens to them themselves, and then they go crying about, like, oh, why did it happen to me, oh, it shouldn't have happened, oh, why me. Like, I've had cases or heard cases where students got rejected on their EAD itself. It happened to my some people in my batch, and they cried their eyes out. Now, yes, it was very unfortunate, it was very unfair, because legally the EAD is not something that you should ever get rejected for, but there was some problem and they later on rectified it. But my point is, it is a gamble, right? And something can bad happen. You're traveling all the way here, it can happen. All I'm saying is, never lose hope, keep your hopes up, and always plan B, man. All right. Now, before I let you go, I hope this video added some value to your life, and if you think it did, do not forget to like this video, subscribe, and definitely share it with students, right, who are planning to come. It is not all gung-ho. Someone needs to show the real side, and I've decided, well, I'm going to be that big brother who shows the real side. Until then, take care. Peace.